All right, we're on to day 2 of the basic gym-based strength and conditioning program, also known as volume 2.0 of the basic strength and conditioning program. So we got 6 parts to this workout. We're going to begin with a jump warm-up, a jump rope warm-up. You're going to do 3 rounds of 30 seconds of jumping rope. All right, first for jumping rope, try to find a rope that is, when you step on it, you bring it up, and it's going to be right at around chest level, somewhere in that range. Too big or too small, you're going to have a bad time. So set yourself up, and now this is the posture I want to try to maintain throughout my jumping rope. I'm extending through my hips, I'm rotating, I'm keeping my shoulders back, and my arms are going to move in this action here, where I'm going to bend my elbows a little bit, and my wrists will be loose so that they rotate to follow. I'm not going to be doing a lot of shoulder action. That's going to actually slow the rope down if I do it that way. I want to keep it really nice and tight. Okay, and then I'm going to be loose with my knees and my hips, and in my ankles rather, and I'm going to kind of pop to extend through. I'll get going, nice and easy. You can do any kind of jump rope. There's a million different varieties. You can do running style. You can do the boxing style. You can do double unders. You can do lateral hop overs with your jump rope. Mix it up. Try a couple of different styles for your warm-up. So you do a 30-second period, you rest about 10 or 15 seconds, and then you go again. All right, now we'll go into a plyo warm-up or a plyo circuit. You go through 3 different things 3 times. You begin with a box jump. I got one of these boxes here, mine's 16 inches. You can even just start by putting a weight plate on the ground, start with a really low height and jump on and off from there. And build yourself up, and if you are pretty skilled at the box jumps, you will use this period to really work on that and increase the height as high as you can. Safety is really a consideration on box jumps. It's maybe one of the most dangerous things you can do in here. So don't do too much too soon, and when in doubt, try to put some kind of covering. You can put like a mat. There's those blue mats or gymnastics mats. You can fold it over, and right where the fold is, put that right over the lip of the box if you're worried that you may or may not be able to get that jump all the way up there. However you do it, the technique is the most important. So you can get like a step into it and go, but I'm just going to do broad jump or a strict vertical jump. So I'm going to start extended, and then I'm going to go down into a hip hinge motion, and I'll push my hips back. My torso comes forward, I bend the knees too, arms back, and then I'm going to extend fully through and rotate the arms forward to get myself up into the air. When I'm up in the air, I'll tuck the knees up, and I'll land with my whole foot down, coming down onto the box. All right? And I can step down, or I can hop down. Jump up, and think during this period of having each jump be a max height. Another thing I like to do is just, it doesn't even matter how high the box is, you can still jump to your own personal max height, even with a smaller box. And that's what you want to do. Warm up on the first round, and then your second and third rounds, really try to get some get vertical with it. Next one, I'll throw in a band pull apart. I have one of these closed loop bands, but any band will work for this. Try to find the right level of resistance so you're challenged by this, but not really having to contort your form in order to complete the repetition. So palms up, elbows extended, shoulder blades retracted, abs tight, butt flexed. Keep that position as you pull the band across right below your chest. And for this, you're doing 8 repetitions. It's 5 box jumps per round. 8 pull aparts, 5 box jumps, and then the next one is 5 lateral hop overs each side. I've got a hurdle that I'll use for this, and you can use any height. Start low, and then you can work your way up to a little bit higher. And the jumping technique is just the same, but now you're going to sort of rebound right from one jump to the next, keeping the same mechanics. Come up, land soft, and get over that hurdle. 5 each side. The third part of this workout is a strength warm-up. We got 3 movements that you'll go through 2 times, 10 repetitions for each. We'll begin, today is a deadlift focused day, a hip hinging focused day. So I'm going to do a couple of those moves. I'll start with a kettlebell swing. I use a kettlebell. I can also use a dumbbell just by holding onto it like this. I use my kettlebell and start from an upright position. I'm going to hinge at the hips. This is where I want to start. I'll hinge and I'll reach back with my arms. Notice that my knees are not coming forward at all. You keep your knees back and keep your hips back, and your torso angle comes forward. And then from there, I will pop my hips and pull with the shoulders. And this is the motion right here, and you can see it's a continuous motion. I'm coming to eye level. I can also go all the way overhead with it. Just make sure that when you get to the top, you're sort of stopping it right as it goes overhead so it doesn't flip over. Kettlebell swings. Next, I will do some deadlift holds, 10-second deadlift holds. So here you're going to practice working your positioning on the deadlifts, and I'll talk about the technique in detail right here. So yeah, start with just a non-weighted broomstick or something, and we're going to start at the top. So you can see my hands are positioned just outside of my hips, and I'm in a pretty narrow stance. I want to be in a narrower stance than from where I squat. So your heels are down right underneath your hips. Now alternatively, if you're a person who happens to have relatively long legs compared to your torso, you may want to use a sumo style stance, where you're actually going to have your feet wider than a squat stance, maybe double the width of your hips, and your hands will be straight down from your shoulders, so your hands will be inside of your legs. And that's going to keep you in a better position and allow you to be keeping your spine in a better position and better use the back of your legs and your lats. I'm a conventional deadlifter usually, so I'll come here, and in either case, it's just a matter of switching your stance a little bit, and everything else is the same. So I got my bar. I want to think about with my upper body on the deadlift, it's almost like I'm doing a dip, so I want to push my arms down, so I feel like I'm flexing the pecs and the lats on the back side. And then with my abs, imagine that you have a belt around your waist and you want to push out against the belt. Those two things will stabilize your spine, and you want to keep that contraction through the range of motion. So now as I go down, watch my knees, watch my hips, and torso angle. It's just like the kettlebell swing where hips and knees stay back and my torso angle comes forward. And notice that the bar is sliding down my leg. I'm keeping it on my leg. Now once I get past my knee can rotate forward, and I'll end up at this bottom position where the bar is crossing the middle of my shin, and this is where I want to be. Notice that my shoulders are in front of the bar. I can't be too upright here because I won't have as good of leverage. My butt's back, my shoulders are forward. So now for the warm-up, you're going to hold this position for 10 seconds, the bottom position. Then you're going to come up to the knee, and notice from the bottom to the knee, my torso angle stayed the same. So my hips rose up a little bit, my shoulders rose up a little bit. And then the third position, I will bring the bar to mid-thigh, and you can see from here, my torso angle starts to come forward a little bit, my butt starts to come forward a little bit, and then coming up at the top. And when you've worked this position, really work on your contraction of your core and also flexion of your legs, flex your quads and glutes. And then the third part of the strength warm-up is a row hold. And you can do this a couple different ways, but And you can really make this a continuation of your deadlift. So once you get to here, then come back down to here, and now you're going to do a bent over row hold. So the bent over row position is just where I'm in a deadlift position, and then I'm going to pull a bar or a pair of dumbbells into my chest. Now for this part of the warm-up, I'm just going to squeeze it, almost like I'm trying to pull the bar and break the bar across my abs. I'm really squeezing there, and what I don't want to happen when I do any rowing motion is shrugging and rounding. I want to keep my shoulders back, even at the back end of the movement. All right, we're now ready to break into the max lifts. And so for each of these lifts, you'll do them one at a time. So we're going to start with the deadlift. For all these movements, you'll build up to a heavy weight, and then you'll execute 4 sets, 4 working sets, and you'll rest 1 minute in between each set. So for your deadlift, you'll start with the light weight, completing 5 repetitions to warm up, add a little bit of weight each time, and once you get to a weight that you think is going to be your max set of 5 for the day, it doesn't have to be a 5-rep max, it doesn't have to be your absolute max, it's just what you feel you can do for that day. If you're feeling really gung-ho and you're feeling super strong, then go for it. But if it's one of those days where you're not feeling quite right, maybe your back feels a little weird with it, or your hamstrings are tight, then just stay on the lighter end. So, yep, I'm going to start my warm-up set. My first warm-up set of deadlifts, I'll get in position, tighten up. And notice now that I'm doing the full repetition. Once I get past the knee, so control of this part, and then pop the hip through, keeping it really close to your body. Try to make every rep identical. So I do that. I'll rest as needed. I'll put some weights on the bar, build myself up, complete those 4 working sets, and when I get to the first working set should be the heaviest. Maybe the second working set could be about the same as your first. And then on the third and the fourth, you want to decrease the weight. You want to deload for those working sets. The second, I've got a split stance bent over row. I can do this with, I got to do this with dumbbells. I can't really do this with the bar. So in a split stance, I'm going to step 1 foot forward in front of the other, kind of like in a lunge. But now I'm going to bend at the waist to get in position here. I want my torso angle to be pretty far forward, and I'll just hold that position while I pull the dumbbells up right below my chest and back up. So this is going to be 5 repetitions each side. I like this tempo here where you pull up, hold, and down, hold. I'll switch sides. Up, down, hold. Up, hold, down, hold. Get 5 there. Since that's a lighter exercise, you probably only need to take 1 or 2 warm-up sets, whereas with the deadlift, you may have to take 4 or 5 or 6 warm-up sets to get to that heavy weight, especially if you're skilled at the deadlift. And then the last one for your max lifts is a reverse fly. So for this, I just have you doing 5 reps of this, 5 reps each of the 4 rounds. Bend over at the waist, you're in the same position again. This time though, you're going to rotate out to the side, keeping your shoulder blades squeezed together the whole time. Next, we've got a cardio circuit. You're going to use your jump rope, and you're going to do kettlebell swings. You can choose to do between 3 and 4 rounds of this part of the workout. And this is going to be continuous. There's no rest in this period. Well, you can rest if you want to. I don't care. But as it's drawn up, you're going to do 1 minute of jump rope, followed by 15 kettlebell swings. And then you repeat. I'll get in. Start with my jump rope, and I'm ready to go. So I just want to jump rope for 1 minute, get as many reps as I can. Any style counts. 1 minute. Now I get my kettlebell swings on.